Hello, today is Saturday, December 12th, and this is blurrdy.com's replay of everything that happened this past week. But this video, we're only going to talk about one thing. Just like in the past couple of videos, we first broke down and talked about Civil War for Captain America. Last week, we talked about Batman vs. Superman, and in this video, we're only going to talk about X-Men Apocalypse. I've been a huge X-Men fan my entire life. They're the first superhero comic book I've ever read. I've been reading since the early 90s, so I know tons of stuff about the X-Men. But right now, we need to clarify where are we at with this movie. So we're talking specifically about the movie timeline, nothing in the comic books, but we will relate a little bit to the comic books. So right now, let's talk about X-Men First Class. That was set in the 60s. We know it's set in the 60s because it had Kennedy as the president. Then we moved on to the most recent film, X-Men Days of Futures Past, which was set in the 70s. X-Men Apocalypse is set in the 80s. So again, another progression in time. The characters are getting older and older. Now, if you're still confused about the timeline and you're referencing the original trilogy of movies from, in fact, 15 years ago, Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman, and so on, those movies are no more. So what happened in Days of Futures Past is that they went back in time and reset the future, because again it was set in the 70s. The X-Men 2 and X-Men The Last Stand, which is X-Men 3, is set in the future or more present day. So they went back in time to the 70s and reset the future. So there's nothing that happened in the future in those movies ever took place. We don't know if it's going to happen the same way. More than likely it's not, because right now in X-Men Apocalypse we're getting younger versions of the characters that we saw in the later films that we didn't get introduced to. So the character like Nightcrawler, who we didn't get to see till X-Men 2, and that was the first time he was discovered, that's now happening in X-Men Apocalypse, which is set in the 80s. So again, that future timeline is gone. Everything is reset, and things are not necessarily going to happen the way they did before.
I've been called many things over many lifetimes. Ra, Krishna, Yahweh.
Ever since the world found out about mutants, there have been secret societies who see them as some kind of second coming or sign of God. They believe that tens of thousands of years ago, an ancient being was born, the world's first
Mutant.
So Apocalypse is considered the first mutant. His history goes all the way back to the Egyptian days. As you can see in the trailer, they're building monuments to him and pyramids, and he's being worshipped as if he was a god. One of the things that makes Apocalypse him is that he believes in the survival of the fittest. He believes that he should rule, and he believes that the strongest should always survive. So he always tries to eliminate the weak, whether they're human or mutants. He's not a human killer. He's a weak killer. He doesn't like weak people or weak individuals or weak groups. He just wants everything to be the strongest survives. With him, he usually has his 4 horsemen, which are named Death, Pestilence, Famine, and War. Typically what he do is find 4 powerful mutants, either convince them to join his side, or he would capture them and make them join his side and give them even more power to make them stronger and give them their abilities. So with that, let's talk about the 4 horsemen themselves. We have War. Typically is just that. They're a great fighter. They're all about fighting and war. Pestilence is a type of Pestilence is the horseman that will control all sorts of sickness and disease. Typically, they can be seen spreading plagues, bubonic plague, and getting people sick, and they die from the sickness. Then there's a horseman of famine that will basically make you starve, make you feel very hungry and starve you to death just from their presence alone. And lastly is death, the horseman of death, a death bringer. They enjoy killing, and they are all about viciously killing and without any sort of malice, without any sort of holding back. They are the horsemen of death. In this film, we have 4 characters that are typically seen on the good side. If you're basing it off the comic books, we have Storm, Psylocke, Angel, who is going to more than likely be called Archangel in the film, And the last one, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Caliban. Caliban is a character that was a horseman in the comic books, and he definitely was cast in this film. That is confirmed. I've seen various outlets say that it's a horseman Plague or the character named Plague. I don't believe that. I think it's Caliban, but I'm not 100% positive. I'll update this video later once I get a full confirmation if it's someone else, but I'm pretty sure it's Caliban. So those X-Men, Storm we've seen before. She can control weather. So it'd be lightning. She can make it rain, move the clouds, heat things up, wind, and she can fly. She's super awesome, and I love that. But they're going with the '80s version from the comic books of Storm, where she has the mohawk, and that's my favorite Storm all time. I love that Storm, so I'm glad they're going with that version. We have Psylocke, played by Olivia Munn. By the way, Alexandra Shipp is playing Storm. Olivia Munn's playing Psylocke, and she looks fantastic. I know she's been training real hard on her ninja skills. Psylocke is a telekinetic and a telepath. She's able to make psychic knives, and usually they're like on her arm. She can probe someone's mind with the psychic knife. She can make psychic katanas as well, and she's just a great ninja. There's a lot to that character. If you don't know much about Psylocke, maybe we can go get into that later. Again, there's Angel. We saw him in X-Men The Last Stand. This will be a little bit different version of him in that he's gonna become Archangel. He has metal wings this time. The feathers will become metal like darts. Their weapons are sharp. They have poison tips, and he is the Horseman of Death. Again, lastly, we have what I believe is Caliban. Caliban is a Morlock. Morlocks are a group of mutants that are not as pretty, not as well accepted. They typically have strange mutations where they are very different looking. They might have appearance like beast. They might look just like they look like they actually are mutants in the more general term. Not someone so pretty like a Cyclops or Jean where they look like normal humans. A Morlock looks a little bit ugly. They look like a mutant. Because of their shame, the Morlocks live underground in the subways and in the underground parts of New York area to stay away from the normal humans that will try to kill them and persecute them. So Caliban is a Morlock, or he's a part of that group. So I'm assuming we're going to get more Morlocks in the movie, like Callisto and Leech possibly. By the way, Callisto and Leech did cameo in The Last Stand, and they had very roles. The Last Stand wasn't a good movie. There, I said it.
What is it?
Oh, God.
He can control all of us.
In the trailer, Xavier says that he can control us, in which you can also see Magneto on the wrong side of things. He's helping out Apocalypse. He's pulling Xavier toward them. And you also see Mystique on the side of the X-Men. Now, I fully believe that the reason why Mystique, played by Jennifer Lawrence, is on the side of the X-Men in this movie is because of Magneto being brainwashed by Apocalypse, and that she cares for Magneto. Obviously, she cares for Xavier as well, but she had more romantic feelings towards Magneto, towards Eric is what they call him, and I believe that's why she decided to help out the X-Men. For Mystique, it's usually a personal interest that she has, and I believe that's why she's teaming up with the X-Men so she can get Eric back to being safe and get him out of the brainwash. I'm still a little upset that there aren't individual costumes. Everyone's still got that very high Spec Ops type black costume with all of the armor plating, and it just doesn't, like, it works okay. They're a team, and they've had team costumes in the comic books, so that's not a big deal. But at the same time, it's been almost 15 years, maybe more than 15 years, and we still can't get any individual costumes for these characters. Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, nothing. They all look exactly the same. And one of the things that made the X-Men so cool is that they have really great costumes. We're still not getting that at all in this film. Maybe at the end, hopefully at the end, or maybe the next film that they do, we can get a little bit of diversity in the costumes, but it's not too bad. The one they really did hit really well was Psylocke. Olivia Munn looks amazing in her suit. It is the purple color suit, and it does have like little straps and stuff around the legs and the arms, and they got her everything looking fantastic. Storm, I have no problem with. I love the hair, and everyone else is pretty much looks plain and the same. Looks great. Is great. Very well designed costumes. But I would love to see something that pay homage to the comic books, even if they just gave them the basic blue and yellow standard X-Men costume for a little while, maybe even just a train in the danger room. That would be great. But they're still wearing these all black, highly stylized, armored costumes, and I'm tired of it. Another thing they did do very well is Apocalypse. He looks great. Earlier in the year, when there was those images of the first look of Apocalypse coming out, everyone made that comparison that he looked like the Ooze, Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie, and I completely agreed with that. But he looks so much better now. They added the blue lips part here, and that's all it really needed. He even has some coils coming down off his neck, which is awesome. The comic book character has coils coming down from his back and his arm as well. I don't think they're going to do that, but they have some coming down his neck. It looks great. They have the blue on his mouth. That looks great. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to replace the voice. Oscar Isaac is going to do a good job, at least I hope so, and he looks really great in the role, but his voice is not better than the animated series voice. Like, here's a clip. This is my favorite quote from the animated series. From Apocalypse. Pretty much my favorite quote in the entire animated series from the 90s.
A mutant! I am as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you. I am eternal!
Ooh, I'm an X-Men nerd. I love this stuff. I love that quote. As far as powers go, Apocalypse is at least going to have the ability to change his size variably. He does have that ability in the comics, and he did it in the show as well. As far as anything else goes, we're not sure. Yes, he has super strength, and he typically can change his form, like his hands. He can make it like a mallet, as seen here, and also make his hands into a blaster or a hook or whatever. He can change anything. There's a lot of history. I don't think we're going to get all of that here because that's touching into the Shi'ar. Lastly, we do get it in the trailer that we're going to get a full bald Xavier finally. It's like they're giving us half fan service. It's like they're giving us half fan service and doing things that we want to see, and basically giving us an Apocalypse look, giving us a Xavier look, giving us a good Psylocke look, but still giving us what they want. And they have their highly stylized costumes. They still have their own agenda towards the storylines and changing things around. Like, can't we just get more of what we want, please? Oh, but we still get Xavier as a bald guy, and I really love it. James McAvoy looks really great, and I hope it happens early in the film so we can get bald Xavier much through the entire film. What do you think of this trailer? Are you planning on going to see the movie now, or are you still going to give it a pass? After the past couple of weeks, we've gotten Captain America trailer, we've gotten the Batman Superman trailer, and now an X-Men trailer. Do you think we're going to get another one next week, like Suicide Squad or something like that? Let me know in the comments. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to us on YouTube. We put out videos all the time. You can catch on our YouTube channel gameplay videos. We have blurrdy replays that hit every weekend, recapping all the biggest things that happened over the past week. And we have other videos that just link to our articles. The articles that are posted on blurrdy.com. You should check blurrdy.com every single day for anything on comic books, on video games, and cosplay. We love all that stuff. And if you love that stuff, head to blurrdy.com. Go check out our posts. Follow us. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitch, where you can watch us play games live and even play games with us. And check out the rest of our social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. But while you're here, why don't you check out this video right there? Sword and being awesome is why I really want to go see this movie. Real quick announcement that blurrdy is going to be at Con All Delete. That's in Chicago in about 2 weeks. We're going to be there on the 19th and the 20th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. That's Con All Delete is a convention, anime based